start streaming.
Yay!
There we go.
Yay!
Yay. Hello, people. Welcome to the pre-show.
Yay!
It's going to be a quick one.
It is.
Because we have a lot of stuff to talk about.
But it's still going to probably be a little bit of a quick one.
So, so I will say, due to the nature of a lot of the stuff we have on the topic, we are going to not do spoilers.
Okay.
That said, oh wow, dropping frames like crazy.
Oh no.
Why?
Oh no.
Why?
Oh no.
I don't think I need Stream Manager open.
Okay.
We are likely not to run a poll. So.
No, not tonight.
It says no recommended changes. I also don't know, where is my Prime subscription and loot reminder set up? Component. My extensions. Let's just see where set as component 1. Selecting the it will appear in the list of extensions in the component mode on right side of your stream. So it should be there. So I don't know. We're going to turn off though. So just a reminder, if you have an Amazon Prime subscription and you have Twitch Prime, you get one free Twitch Prime subscription a month. Please consider using it on this channel so that we can get more emotes.
Yes!
That's really, like, having more viewers, whatever. I want more emotes.
Yes.
So, and I need subs to do that. So, yeah. But, yeah, why don't we get started?
Yes.
Because I know you're also probably super exhausted from the events of today.
Just super everything.
So, all right. Ooh. Hang on.
That sounds lovely.
Okay. All right. So let's just. Can you talk for a bit, Courtney?
Yeah, I can talk for a bit.
Okay. All right. We're good. It was just nothing was coming up on desktop audio. So. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Starting the show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming up on episode 165, Pokemon Sword and Shield, Disney Plus shows, Eberron and Humblewood, and much, much more on the 8-Bit Adventures podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the 8-Bit Adventures podcast, bringing you the latest and greatest geeky news of the week. I am your host, Sean Hayes, and with me, OG co-host, Courtney Bolin.
Hey, everybody.
So, yeah, as we explained last week, Josh York is kind of out for the time being due to work commitments. So, yeah, when he'll come back when he is able to come back, but until then, it's just me and Courtney, just like old times.
Yep, and we didn't kick him off. It was.
No, we did not kick him off. In fact, I am quite sad that we won't get to hear his thoughts on The Mandalorian, but we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yes.
But basically, Disney Plus. Now that it's out, it's finally working for everybody, and this and that. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's that time of the year when there's all sorts of stuff going on.
Yes.
So my voice may crack a couple times.
And my
during
lungs
this
just
during
really
the show.
stink. And my lungs just stink, so
Yeah.
my might get muted for a minute if I have to cough.
Yeah. So we've been watching a bunch of stuff on Disney Plus.
Oh my gosh,
collectively.
So much. Oh my gosh, so much.
And yeah, so just about the service in general, I like the user interface. I like the user interface.
Yeah, no.
I also like the watch list is somewhere sensible, and it's easy to navigate. Unlike Netflix, who basically broke their. I can't stand Netflix's user interface anymore. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of having to page through, basically just rows and rows of content that I don't care about.
Yeah.
Because occasionally they will hide like my list.
Oh yeah.
And then like sometimes they'll put it back up top.
Yeah, like sometimes your list gets like bumped to the bottom, and sometimes it'll be and that's a difference between you and I, because you watch on the TV a lot, but I'm usually watching on my laptop. And so for me, like I still have like my list is actually at the top that I can click. So I don't have that issue.
But then it's still the fact that it's not like a separate page. It's like, for example, I was trying to watch Supernatural the other day, and I had to tab over like 4 or 5 times in order to get to it.
If you click on the My List part again, and there's the different interfaces through the.
This was on PC.
You should just this
was on the Windows 10 app.
You should be able to just click My List and it brings it to a big page. That's what it does for me.
Well, then that is not apparent, and that they failed. They absolutely failed. Also, I'm sick of Netflix. I've been this way for a while. Is they had a good user interface, and then they broke everything, and I will never forgive them.
Yeah.
So, it's I want it to be an easily accessible separate location.
Yeah.
That I can navigate to from the homepage. Yeah, as opposed to having a scrolling bar.
Yeah, so I do like that they did have the similar to Hulu, where they have like my stuff on Hulu. They have the watch list up at the top with Disney Plus. I've actually come across a couple of issues with the user interface, and again, because we use the system or this service. There we go. Words. I swear I have them. Because we use it differently. Like on my laptop, I'm finding it difficult. Like I have to go in to every single thing that I want to add to my watch list, and like go to it, like click on it, and then add it, and then go back to the big like list that it gives me of stuff. I can't just like hover over something and add it to my watch list. At least I haven't found that I'm able to. So.
See, I'm not even aware if I have that capability with Netflix. Is I still have to go into something and manually add it.
No, you can do that a little bit easier on Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, different interfaces. Sometimes.
So for me, I'm having to do the same thing regardless of platform.
Yeah.
So.
I think the other thing for me that I haven't really watched any full series of anything yet, because I've been watching a lot of movies that I've been behind on, and one thing that is very frustrating to me is every single movie, short, I did watch the World According to Jeff Goldblum, like the 2 episodes in that, the 2 episodes of The Mandalorian that are out. Every single video that I start, I have to put the subtitles on at the beginning of every single video. Like I have not had it have like carry over from one watching session to another, or from one episode to another, or from one movie to another.
Mm.
So and I looked to see if there was something in the settings to be like, well, maybe I'm missing something and it just automatically defaults, but I need to change it. There's no way to get to that type of setting in the account settings for that. So as somebody who exclusively watches with subtitles, that has been a bit, it's annoying. It's not like, oh my gosh, it breaks it for me, but it has been annoying. And I do like though that it kind of just is a grayed over overlay, so you can still be watching and listening and seeing words, correct words. You can still be seeing while you're saying, okay, I need to just get the subtitles and get the English, whatever it may be. But that is one other user interface thing that I've been having a little bit of frustration with. But that might just be a accessibility thing that they need to just update.
Maybe.
Yeah. Other than that, though, the subtitles are straight on, like good.
Yeah.
Like they didn't, because sometimes you'll get somewhere and the subtitles will be just off just a little bit. I have noticed it was actually really funny because I was watching. I don't remember if it was High School Musical 3 or if it was High School Musical the musical show, the series. But the subtitles were so wrong, but in a way that if you were able to hear it or you could still follow the context to know how they were wrong.
Yeah, it's possible that may have been using like an automated service. Like I know for Tales of Jamora, it's for people that need to watch our show with subtitles. Yeah, I mean, I would love to remedy that situation because I have watched clips with the subtitles before, and they are pretty awful because we have a lot of made up words, and it just does not know how to handle them.
Yeah, and some of that might be that they ran it through software and didn't, I mean, they just added so much. There's not like they had time to double check everything.
Yeah.
But as I said though, the mistakes that I'm seeing in the subtitles
or they might be using that freelance subtitle service that is like grossly underpaying everybody.
Yeah.
That's an ongoing thing.
But as I said though, the mistakes that are in the subtitles that I'm seeing are easily, if you're following the show and you're following the context, you are able to recognize, oh, this is what they meant.
Yeah.
And some of it's just stuff spelled wrong. And like, it's a name of somebody instead of something, instead of like a word, a general word.
Yeah.
And so, but in general though, it's working really well. That being said, I have no idea about how it goes for other languages, but
well,
English seems to be okay.
Might not be out in those countries. I think
but it's
still
out in this country, and
well,
we
yeah.
have many other language speaking, many people who speak other languages in this country.
Right.
So
I don't know if it's available in other languages for folks in North America, or how many languages it's available in.
Spanish and French are the ones that I'm seeing the most.
I know when I have the option to change the language for my user profile, I'm only given like 4 language options.
Yeah.
And it's basically predominant languages in North America.
Yeah.
And also British English.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
But yeah, I know, for example, like it's not available in Japan for another 2 years.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that said about the user interface.
Yeah. Other than that, though, I'm finding it great. I love that you can easily look through for, looking through unvaulted stuff, looking through decoms, I like how they have stuff. I love actually, oh my gosh. Sorry. I had a little like, oh my gosh, I love this when I went to the Disney Channel original movies section,
Mm-hmm.
and it is separated out by decade. Like by
Yes.
different. I love that.
Yes.
Because I don't have to try and sit through or find, I don't care about the more recent decoms. Give me my decoms.
Now I wonder if Disney is going to start doing kind of the weirder filtering systems like Netflix does, and have things like D comedies starring Don Knotts or because you watched this movie, here are other movies featuring Don Knotts, or here are other movies featuring Angela Lansbury, or
Mm-hmm. But no, I think that we have to wait and see. But
yeah,
in general, I'm pretty happy with this interface. And again, they're going to tweak it. Like,
yeah,
that's just, it's gonna happen.
yeah.
So, but to me, it can only get better.
Yeah. As far as content,
Yeah.
so Mandalorian, pretty good.
Oh yeah.
I've been enjoying. It has a very 70s Star Wars feel to it,
But a polished 70s.
Yeah. I mean, to a certain extent, some of the effects are a little noticeable. They don't quite mesh as well. I'm willing to overlook that because I watch a lot of, TV sci-fi. So
Read Supernatural. And
uh,
other.
I was gonna say a lot of like 90s Star Trek.
Oh yeah, that's oh man, that's
90s Star
good.
Trek, Stargate, various forms of Stargate,
Yep.
and things like that. So like I'm used to that. I wasn't turned off by it, but it's between that, the score, and just like the overall feel.
Yep.
And just interesting design choices, like the fact that that as of yet, the protagonist has not taken off the helmet. I feel like that's not really a spoiler.
No, Mandalorians don't take off their helmets.
Not usually. But they can. I mean, there's nothing stating that they can't. At least, if the Old Republic is to any indication. My character was taking his helmet off all the time in that game, in cutscenes and stuff. But yeah, no, it's really good. I mean, the score is just fantastic. It's on Spotify right now.
Oh, nice.
They are releasing each episode score as a different album as well. So like every time a new episode is going to come out, they release the basically soundtrack for that episode along with it. So that's interesting. Nice. But yeah, just the way the world's crafted thus far, and little touches, I think have been really good. And again, kind of this sort of Star Wars method of sort of show don't tell, and it's okay to throw something in without giving it context, without explaining the context of it. So, we might see a creature or some bystanders or something. Oh dear. Oh, sorry. We are having all sorts of issues right now. Dropping frames. Oh
no.
Also, yeah, we're not broadcasting at all.
What?
It seems like.
What?
So, we'll fix this in post, I guess.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Something weird.
I don't know. But yeah,
there we
Ludwig
go.
Göransson is doing an amazing job, though. think that's how you pronounce his last name.
Yes.
But yeah, he's doing a great job, and I agree. That was actually something that was a little bit difficult for me. Because I am half the reason why I watch with subtitles is because I can't hear correctly, and the other half is because I multitask.
Mm-hmm.
And so I found that I really do have to be fully paying attention to this show, which I do like.
Yeah.
And I did learn pretty quickly in the first episode that yeah, I have to really be paying attention. So, I really like that it really just oh my gosh. Just oh my gosh. Baby Yoda, man. Baby Yoda. Just all of Baby Yoda.
Yeah, I guess because it's been all over the internet, but we
That's
said we
all
weren't going to
over the
spoil
internet.
anything.
No, that one, I'm sorry, Sean. That is all over the internet. Yeah. And we still don't know anything about it. But
Yeah.
other than he's little and he's cute.
So, but yeah, looking forward to that. New episodes come out on Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
So, and now that Undeadwood's done, I don't have any competing things.
Yeah. I actually, yeah, as I said earlier, I had watched the first 2 episodes of both The World According to Jeff Goldblum, which is that new show.
Yes, we just watched an episode about sneakers.
Yes.
I felt weird during that episode.
So the
like I didn't realize there was like this weird like kind of it almost felt like some kind of black market convention for sneakers because like
everybody's doing it
and
in
I feel
cash.
Like this is almost like a documentary type show. So
yeah.
It's not really spoilers or whatever, but yeah, everybody's carrying out not just cash, but like tens of thousands of dollars in fat stacks of hundreds in cash to buy shoes. Like
yep.
Like this doesn't happen at Comic-Con.
No, because most Comic-Cons have card readers.
But it's
yeah.
like it's like people do that because they don't want to deal with banks, and it's like that's sketchy. That's the part that made me feel weird. I was like and then they said like, oh hey, we're gonna have to do this deal off camera or whatever, and I was just like, when the guy said like no banks, and I was just like, what kind of criminal masterminds are we watching here?
I think that is more of they don't want to wait for bank transfers and stuff like that with something that's that highly collectible. When you're talking 350 pairs or $350 per pair of shoes, and cash is king, and especially in I don't know how to put this other than a more hip hop style of life than a geekdom. I feel that it's the phrase "that's very cash money" comes into my mind.
One Josh York in the chat room is pointing out they want to avoid taxes.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. I can see that. That is a fair point.
Yeah. Especially again because you're paying so much for shoes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I'm still my mind is just blown.
No, I really, really liked it though because like I love these types of mini documentary like shows. And so having it in little half-hour bites is just awesome. And I think you find out some history, you find out like some like the mainstream, you find out the more casual, like, and then you find out like the scientific part of it or the artistry part of it. Like that was the coolest part. And then to bring it in in something and going such a completely different direction for the next episode. Like, I'm really excited for this next episode that's going to come out, because they seem to be going kind of a little bit of everything. Yeah.
And Jeff Goldblum is like perfect. He's just got the right amount of sort of quirky oddball humor that really makes this show work.
Yes.
Because he just, you know, does his like weird oddball awkward kind of thing or whatever. And it's great.
And I think that it's really cool too, because it brings up that whole, you know, well, yeah, let's be curious about this. Let's learn something about this. Let's learn something about sneakers. Let's learn something new about ice cream. And
yeah,
like, I knew like, you know, for the second episode is about ice cream, and I didn't know that the Navy started ice cream socials. Like,
I mean, I
didn't
could
know
see
that.
that.
I didn't know that. Like, I love learning stuff, and like, it's, to me, it's just it's a swoosh. It is absolutely 3 points right there. Um
Yeah.
and I think that the really cool thing too is, yes, they're talking about, like, they're also bringing in some, like, they talked with Ben and Jerry from Ben and Jerry's. And so I kind of like that they brought in stuff that's relatable still, to kind of everyone. And it's definitely a focus on learning and trying new experiences. And again, Jeff Goldblum is literally the perfect person that they could have done for this. But
yeah,
I'm greatly enjoying it. I also did get the same vibe at the sneaker show.
yeah,
But yeah.
yeah. It was just it was a bit more intense than something I'm used to with conventions.
Well, and I think that
Yeah.
that was so much more of like a trade convention
Yes. And it's also like
than a
I could
fandom
see that amount of
convention.
money being spent, you know, if it was like at a fashion show, you know, and you have like
Yep.
designers and companies and stuff spending that money. But it's like it was like a 13-year-old kid who paid $1,800 for a pair of sneakers.
Yep.
And I'm like, that
And guess
that,
what?
that kid's too hardcore for me.
And guess what? He's never gonna wear them.
Probably not.
Never. Can guarantee that kid probably will never wear them and will sell them. That is an investment.
Yeah.
That's
But it's like,
like
holy moly.
That's like why you buy mint edition, like mint collector's edition action figures and stuff like that. Like, those are investments. Those are not those are not to be worn.
Yeah.
But the other series though that I've watched and started was High School Musical, the musical, the series.
I can't stand that name. I
I
really
can't either. But the show itself, I don't even know. Like, the entire premise of the show, as seen in the trailers for it, was, you know, it's the high school, East High, that shot the High School Musical movies, has never actually done a production of High School Musical the musical. But oh my gosh, it's like a scripted reality show, and I'm in love with how cheesy it is, and it's not something you watch because, at least it's not something I'm watching because I'm genuinely invested in these characters, and I want to know how this happens. No, I want to see the train wreck. I want to see the train wreck.
For shame.
Yeah, ain't no shame in my Disney game.
I am looking forward to watching the Muppets
Mm.
and a bunch of various Muppet movies.
I was gonna say, did they have the original Muppets run on there?
They don't have the Muppet Show. I don't know if they're
Okay.
like still trying to figure that out or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They have the ABC series.
Oh, I know that they have a bunch of the Muppets movies. So like
Yes.
Muppets Christmas
So
Carol, Muppet Treasure Island.
yes, so they do have all
Um,
of the Muppet movies.
yeah.
But yeah. Oh, it'd be great if they could get all the back
Yeah.
issues. All of the original series of the Muppet Show. That would be fantastic.
That would be. That's a good. That's a
Yeah.
good. I remember when I was in college, one of my my boyfriend's roommates was getting them on DVD through Netflix when Netflix was doing DVDs for some things.
Mhm.
Um, and we were just like marathoning that in the living room. It
Yeah.
was, what are we watching today? More Muppets. Yes. So, seen a good chunk.
Yeah.
But
Um,
mhm.
let's see.
And then
Oh,
yeah,
DuckTales. We got caught up on DuckTales through.
nice.
The only thing is, so I think there might be new episodes that are not on Disney Plus that might be on iTunes. I'd have to check. And that's the thing is for series that are currently out, like on cable.
Yeah.
Is at what point do they get updated on Disney Plus?
I know how it is for Netflix. I'm not sure because Hulu does everything live
Mm-hmm.
or adds like a week and a day or something like that. But for Netflix, it's so say you're at like season 1 just wrapped of something.
Yeah.
When after season 2 has their premiere, usually season 1 the previous season gets put on.
Yeah, the difference being though is that Disney is the owner of the content,
I
and as
understand
opposed
that,
to
but
paying a licensing.
yeah, but I mean, because Netflix releases everything in their series like in a season at once.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it's gonna work.
Yeah, so I don't know if they're gonna add new episodes of DuckTales as they air, or if they're gonna wait until the season's done and then air it, or what. I know for iTunes, it's as soon as the episode's available, it gets released.
I
So,
personally wouldn't be surprised if they season dump.
where I'm on the other side of the fence,
I wouldn't be
since there's already
surprised.
precedent for iTunes.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm hoping as well. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's something that we'll have to see.
Yes.
Now,
Especially since they're already taking that route with their original content, like with Mandalorian and stuff, is that they're doing it weekly.
Yeah. Now, my question is because I know Mandalorian's on Friday. Does Disney Plus do like new episode Fridays basically?
No. Each series has its own day.
Has its own day. Okay, that was
Yeah.
I'm terrible at watching things in actual sequential order from when they release.
Yeah.
And so like I'll go like 4 weeks without watching Patriot Act on Netflix and then just binge, 4 episodes or something. So I'm terrible at that. Netflix has made me bad at watching TV. So I don't usually pay attention to when things release. I just know that Fridays are Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So, and I did it, everybody. I did what I said I was going to do, and I sat through Lady and the Tramp. I was pleasantly surprised. I actually greatly enjoyed it. A few like big changes, which were wonderfully, wonderfully. I think that they did them wonderfully. And I'm very proud of how they took how they made the changes. It wasn't it didn't seem forced is the best way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, it hasn't been out long enough because it launched with Disney Plus. But like the biggest thing that really, really, really stuck out in my mind was the Cats song.
The cats. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I was
Yes.
knowing that scene was coming up, I was very apprehensive, and I was very, very, very happy with how it went. So that was one live action that I was actually very happy with all of it. um and oh my gosh, I just forgot how adorable the story is. I really did. Well, that's one that I didn't watch too many times as a kid. Like I'd catch it on TV or something. Um and so no, I think that's a good one going forward. I was apprehensive about it using live action and live action animals in general. And I'm still apprehensive about all these live action remakes. Um but this one I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. And then I watched Up. No, not Up. Inside Out. Up. No. No, I don't want to cry that badly. No, I'm saving my tears for Star Wars, people.
Yep.
No, I watched Inside Out, and then there was a short after it, like a separate video, called Riley's First Date. I didn't even know that this short existed, and oh my gosh, it's adorable. Um, it's Riley, and she's making friends, and one of them happens to be a boy that then she's gets wonderfully. You left him alone with dad downstairs? And then they're dorking out together downstairs, and it's a really, really cute little short. If you haven't seen it or haven't gotten a chance to see it, and have Disney Plus, totally go take a look, because it's super cute. And I actually really like it because you get to see inside more of the brains. So like you get to see inside mom's brain more, you get to see inside dad's brain more,
Okay.
with how their emotions react. And again, the teenage boy's brain, which you get little bit, like a couple scenes of in Inside Out.
Yeah.
You get more scenes of that, which is super, super, super fun.
I still haven't seen Inside Out. So.
Well, you can.
I know. I added it to my watch list.
See, this is the point now of like, we're just adding everything to our watch list, and now we gotta like go through it.
Yep.
Because I'm adding stuff to my watch list, including things that I wanted to see in theaters but didn't get a chance to, due to time or money or whatever it may have been. So I just finished Dumbo tonight. Yeah, tonight. Days are running together. I'm really glad I didn't see it in theaters.
Yeah.
I'm really glad I didn't see it in theaters. Because Baby Mine already made me cry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, it's so much more heartbreaking when it's live action.
But before we get down the rabbit hole of Courtney is sad because of elephants.
Yeah.
Why don't we move along? Because we still have a whole bunch of other stuff to go through.
I was gonna say I just started Big Hero 6. I'm about halfway through.
Okay.
And that's where I am.
For relevancy, the series, not the motion picture.
Big Hero 6?
Yes.
No, the motion picture.
Oh, there is a television series as well.
Yeah, no, the motion picture.
Oh,
The
okay.
motion picture. Because I had
All right.
not seen the original. I had not seen the movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. More things to review.
Again,
But Courtney's been going through it.
that's another sad Courtney will be sad.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's a sad film.
I have an emotional support burrito dog.
Yes.
So, for these reasons.
So, this week, there were technically 3 Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition books that were released. 2 of which being first party, 1 being third party. The first being Dungeons & Dragons versus Rick and Morty.
Oh.
The second being Eberron, Rising from the Last War, which is
Yes.
the kind of first official published campaign setting, since everything else has been taking place in the Forgotten Realms, and Ravenloft was an adventure that kind of also served as a pseudo campaign setting book. And then Humblewood, the physical books went out this week.
Yeah.
So, so I'll be talking about Humblewood and Eberron, as I don't have anything as far as the Rick and Morty book. Apparently it's mostly an adventure. I guess there's like a couple of monsters and maybe like 1 or 2 other like 1 or 2 magic items, but there's not really stuff like as far as player material. It's really if you want to mesh those 2 together.
If you want to put that skin on it, basically.
Yeah.
I can see how that can be a fun adventure. The show itself is really weird, the moments that I catch it. I don't watch it at work. I change the channel actively.
Yeah, it's so full disclosure, I'm not a big fan. So yeah. But I know for most people this will be a very interesting book series. Has tie-ins to the comic series that they did.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That included like cameo appearances from like all sorts of famous dungeon masters, like Satine Phoenix, Matthew Mercer, Chris Perkins.
Oh, cool.
And I think there were a couple more folks thrown in there. But I don't recall the full list. I just know those 3 were definitely included in there. I think Patrick Rothfuss might have worked on that book at some point.
Oh, nice.
So it kind of ties into this product. Now, that said, Eberron, I do not have the physical book yet, as I'm going to pick it up later this week. But really good background information for Eberron. I know there is some disappointment in that it seems like a bunch of features were removed from the Wayfinder's Guide version. Namely, Warforged are in the book, though they no longer have like subtypes of Warforged. It's now they're all just kind of the same. They also removed like the whole like you can basically do a different armor loadout after a long rest. They took that away. Artificers, the Archivist Artificer is no more. They also swapped out some stuff. Alchemist kind of feels a little weird. Like one of the features is you just make a random potion every day, which for Tales of Jabora fans sounds awfully similar. So,
dude.
Yeah. And Homunculus is now just a infusion that they learn. It's like you take an item and you construct a homunculus out of that item. So yeah, it's interesting stuff like that. I am a little disappointed in the sort of breadth of magic items. There are, if you're a fan of sort of the Kalishtar and Dalkir stuff, there's a lot of interesting magic items for you. If you were a fan of like Warforged components and stuff like that, not really a lot of stuff. There are also no stats for airships, not really any stats for the lightning rail or anything like that. So I was hoping for airship stats, because that's always interesting, especially with the new vehicle rules. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
We do get some new basically racial stuff for orcs, as orcs in Eberron are quite different than orcs elsewhere. So that's nice. If you want to play a full-fledged orc character, you got a little bit of a they basically kind of take away a lot of the how to describe this, problematic stuff. I don't know if they necessarily went far enough.
Yeah.
In that, but it's a step further in the right direction, I think. Dragon marks are in there. So dragon marks are there are these various like magical tattoo birthmarks.
I was gonna say, yeah, I remember
that are somewhat hereditary. And only certain basically only certain races can manifest certain marks. And surrounding these marks, you have these dragon-marked houses, which are big, basically mega corporations, but they're like mega guilds that pop up, and they control basically an industry. So the halflings that bear the mark of hospitality control, like, they basically form the largest the largest hotel chain in Eberron. They control like all of the inns, all of the banquet halls, all of that stuff. Mark of Storm, the half elves of House Lyrander, which has the Mark of the Storm, control sort of the shipping trade, because they can control the weather, and so they boast the biggest fleet of airships and sailing ships. So things like that. And then there's also aberrant dragon marks, which are very chaotic and unpredictable. So, but we do get the Artificer. There's a section on group patrons. So there are no mechanical features of having a group patron, which I thought it was going to be, because they said it was supposed to be like a background for your group, and really what it is it gives you more sort of role-playing benefit type stuff. So you might be able to find housing, or have like a living allowance, or if you work for a university or a newspaper, you might, and your adventure is while you're on the job and you're incurring expenses that are related to the job, you can actually get reimbursement for your travel expenses, kind of a thing.
Okay.
So interesting stuff like that. Also has ties on organizations within Eberron, to give you some fleshing out the setting a little bit. They do have some adventure hooks and adventure ideas.
Nice.
There's also stats for several monsters and important figures. Beings like where is it? The Lord of Blades.
Oh, okay.
Ilmarrow.
Okay.
There's some like greater fiends as well. Really terrifying individuals. So yeah, the Quarry. Oh, the Overlords. That's what they call them. So yeah. As far as the Dalkir based magic items, they're all like symbiotic. So you could apply this stuff if you were going to play a sort of Star Wars, what do they call it? Legacy now? That was the old expanded universe stuff with the Yuuzhan Vong, where they had all of their equipment was like biological.
Interesting.
So it was like living organisms that grafted onto you and do weird stuff. So one's like a wrist tentacle. That's like a tentacle whip. There's another that's a beholder crown. There's living armor, which I was like, oh, cool. So it's like, elven leaf weave type stuff where it's plants. And, it when exposed to sunlight, it regrows itself. No.
No.
It's,
Is this armor that you have to feed meat to?
kind of. It's, like purplish black chitin with glowing red sinew underneath. And it, like, kind of writhes and, like, chitters and stuff.
Tell me more.
Every 24 hours, it must be fed blood. Because it's bonded to you, it is your blood. So you have to spend like a certain amount of hit points, or not hit dice, sorry, or gain a level of exhaustion. Hit dice, or you gain a level of exhaustion as it just drains blood from you. Yeah, kind of weird stuff.
No.
That stuff is available on D&D Beyond right now. Which was saying 3.5 had the Dalkir half-blood humans who all had a twin that was one of these symbionts. Interesting. I don't think they have anything like that in this book. I think
because the last time I played an Eberron game, we were playing 3.5.
Yeah.
My introduction
to but
D&D.
they have the Quarry. They have Undying. They have Warforged Colossi and Titans, Living Spells, the Inspired, which are basically like the sort of villains that ally themselves with the Quarry, I believe.
Okay.
Which they're like nasty dream spirits.
Yeah.
So, dinosaurs, because dinosaurs feature heavily in Eberron, with the Talenta Plains halflings.
Yes.
So there's
dinosaurs.
Basically, like a Deinonychus.
You already know those stats.
There's like a Gallimimus type dinosaur. Oh, and that's it. Okay. All right, and then we get into the weird, god-awful aberrations. Okay. So we're going to back right out of that. And then, in addition, we got...
Where'd you put it? You had it last night.
Humblewood, on my bookshelf, where it belongs. So, the Humblewood campaign setting. This is by The Deck of Many. This book was a Kickstarter project, where it's kind of like a Redwall campaign. But this is focusing on basically the Humblewood, which is this sort of magical forest where all sorts of animal humanoid animal beings, the bird folk and the humble folk live. And a lot of the intrigue is basically after there was a great calamity, which there was a section of the Humblewood that burned and permanently damaged. And ever since then, there's been sort of refugees and folk that have had to flee from that area. And in addition, because it's in the middle of a forest, there's isolated communities everywhere. And in between there's banditry type stuff. It's, from what I get, it's not necessarily like the Forgotten Realms or, Dragonlance or something where it's big, epic fantasy. I think it's much more suited for kind of everyday kind of adventuring type stuff, where it's you're keeping the roads safe from bandits. There might be cataclysmic stuff where, maybe there's a cult that's trying to summon, kind of like Warcraft in Classic, where you're trying to stop, clans from summoning the Fire Lord back into being.
But it's
things
kind of
like that.
it's kind of smaller scale stuff that affects the Humblewood,
Yes,
stuff that is much more. It'd be like
it's
in
much more locally
reference.
focused.
It'd be like Berkshire County.
Well, to put it into like Forgotten Realms context, it would be like an entire campaign setting, within the Sword Coast. Maybe
Yeah,
even smaller. Maybe even like in Neverwinter Wood.
I think that might be closer from what I
And
saw in
like
those maps last night.
that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It has so I will
Amazing.
say my favorite part about this book is the artwork. The is she the art director? Yes. So Leisha Hannigan, who has done stuff for Critical Role before, um, was the art director. She did an amazing uh, job sort of
Oh yeah.
assembling and managing the art team and the artists. The artwork in here is absolutely gorgeous.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
I
I'm
mean,
not even gonna
it is
lie.
worth it is worth picking up the book just for the artwork and treating it like an art book.
I am not gonna lie. Like looking through that book last night, I was legitimately, and I'm still considering having like one of those little sketches placed somewhere permanently on my body. Um, because oh my gosh, they are that cute, and oh my gosh, just it's so well done. Like she did an amazing job, and
Yeah,
I
this is also
yeah.
I mean a lot of the artists are probably known among the critic community. There seems to be a lot of folks that contribute to Critical Role with artwork. Um, but yeah, it's just the whole team did an amazing job with this book. This is a case 10 original races, ranging from bird folk, and like I said, the humble folk are basically all small woodland
They're
creatures.
woodland creatures.
Um, it has some new spells. It's got some new magic items. It has an adventure from levels 1 to 5. Information about the campaign setting, the deities. I would say, if you are interested in producing your own content for Dungeons and Dragons, or any system, this book is, I would say, is a great way to look at how you should construct a campaign setting book.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, it's
Um.
it's it's fantastic.
Mhm. Yeah. Just the little bits that I got to see through last night. I mean, it's. I'm seriously not even kidding. Like
It
the
also
artwork is amazing.
has a section in the back for NPCs and monsters. Oh,
Mhm.
that's right. It's got feats, since
Mhm.
because most of the bird folk can glide, so it introduces feats related to flying and gliding. Um, yeah, it has a little bit of everything. So it's designed to kind of be an all-encompassing book.
Yeah.
Which I think Wizards is kind of moving in the direction of for a lot of its campaign settings, where like it includes a starter adventure. It's got a little smattering for dungeon masters, for players.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah. So I don't know if after the Kickstarter where this might be available. Hit Point Press, Deck of Many, Humblewood.com. Um, yeah, I would heartily encourage anybody, if you are interested in 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, or you would like to support independent content creators, pick up this book.
Mhm.
Or if you just like birds.
It's seriously. I'm not even kidding. I'm seriously considering
I mean, look at this little
getting
owl.
getting
Look at
some
this
of the
little owl
sketch.
knight.
And there's so many adorable little sketch art, like sketches in there.
Oh yeah.
I am serious about possibly getting one of them on my body. Um But to be honest, if I did that, I'd also get a Captain Tusktooth.
Yeah.
Because yes.
So. But yeah. Retail price is
$29.99.
$49.99 is the MSRP.
Okay.
Which is the standard for a full hardcover D&D book.
They also have minis.
They do have minis. Yeah. I did not spring for the minis because that was a whole bunch of extra.
Yeah, sets of 5 for $30. Check it out on Deck of.
Yes, yeah, you can get it on Deck of Many, including little Strig Knight, little Owl Knight. So, which he's probably the best part. Brave little Owl Knight.
Brave
by
little
far.
pygmy owl.
By far. So, yeah. So that's D&D stuff that's out.
Yeah.
Additionally, Courtney and I have been playing Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Yes.
One note. Because we're talking about all this stuff, we're not going to do quest log this week because we're basically already talking about what we've been doing.
Yeah.
So yeah. So just a production note. No quest log for this episode. We're doing it now.
Yeah.
So Pokemon Sword and Shield.
It's kind of been a running quest log.
So without giving away any spoilers, I think so. I think the Pokedex stuff at this point, now having played the game, is overblown.
You mean the people freaking out because we weren't getting enough Pokemon being ported over?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's being overblown. I can understand being disappointed that your favorite Pokemon's not getting brought over for this game. I do still think that Game Freak would be really smart to do a Pokemon Stadium that had all the generations of Pokemon available in it. And then that's what you do to appease people. And then essentially, yeah, like in a CCG, you do your standard format and your wild format or your legacy format or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that said, overall, I'm having a really good time. I do think there are some criticisms that can be made. I mean, for one thing, I do feel like the variety of Pokemon is a bit front-loaded. I don't know if that's just because you get access to a wild area so early, and then you're supposed to go back there. But like, for me, where I ended up with like 60 Pokemon before, like 60 different varieties of Pokemon before I hit the first gym.
Yeah.
I do think it's also easy to over level. And then you have to like swap Pokemon out if you want a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, I think similar with that that also gets very, very overwhelming at first. Because like you and I talked about, like, because I did not spend copious hours in the Wild Zone. Because I found it so the entirety of it I found very, very overwhelming.
Yeah.
Does that mean I'm gonna stop going back? No, I'm gonna keep going back.
Yeah.
But I think that definitely, as you said, front loaded is an appropriate is an appropriate criticism at this moment in time.
So I think another one is so I'm not as down on Dynamaxing as I was when we first saw it. Like, I actually think it does introduce some interesting strategy. Maybe. That said, it doesn't really introduce any interesting strategies for raid battles because it's just, well, you might as well just start off Dynamaxing and then just spamming super effective moves. The Gigantamaxing I don't think is implemented very intelligently, because Gigantamaxing only applies to specific Pokemon, not species of Pokemon. So to put it in the context of like Mega Evolution, every Blastoise, as long as it has a Blastoisite, can Mega Evolve into Mega Blastoise.
Yeah.
In this game, to use Dreadnought as an example, to keep with the turtle Pokemon theme, certain Dreadnought can Gigantamax, and those are ones that you defeat and catch through a max raid battle. This means that you have to have the good fortune to find it in a max raid battle, and then you have to catch it and everything, but you're not guaranteed to even find it. And it's a fact where, there could just be Dreadnought everywhere, but you have to find a very specific Dreadnought.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't like that. It basically creates, like, if you're going to do it as event Pokemon, that's fine. But in that case, you shouldn't then tie it to, like, just a low percentage chance of spawning, basically.
Yeah.
You should then just give it out as an event type thing.
Yeah.
Which, of course, they do with, like, Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. There's the, basically, like, early adopter Meowth that you can get. But, yeah, I mean, so the whole Gigantamaxing concept, I'm not really a fan of how it's implemented. Additionally, so making curry. I actually like the process that they do. I'm, you know me, I'm a big sucker for crafting systems, cooking systems, fishing systems. I don't think there's enough variety. It's basically the types of curry that you can make are determined by the primary ingredient. And then it's just whatever berries you make, is then, is it dry? Is it spicy? Is it bitter? Is it sweet? Is it sour? Whereas, for me, I want to be like, why can't you combine, like, what if different berries drastically altered it instead of just being like, this is a spicy burger curry, as opposed to being like, no, call it like you have to do some specific combination of berries to get, this is a jalapeno popper burger curry or something.
Yeah, I think looking through that entire system, you love them. I'm not gonna lie, I find them a little bit annoying. It has its place. Camping and cooking curry definitely has its place. I definitely enjoy it, but at the same time, I'm sometimes turned off by those types of things in games, and I found it to be more of a distraction than a help. And I understand that, like, I understand how it helps. I understand, like, the purpose of it. But no. Let me say, like, give me a recipe book and I have to fill them all. Like, absolutely, I'd be all down for it.
Okay.
But I feel like it, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not. Those things are not attractors to me for a game. Let's put it that. But
okay. Well, so I guess I'm not quite sure why it would be distracting, since it's an entirely optional subsystem.
It's in the back of my head. It's if I have to get I want to figure out what every berry does. I have to figure and then remember and all of that, versus and then see all of the different ingredients that I can get, and what if I add this different ingredient and that different ingredient. It's, to me, it is still too much of a.
Well, so here's the good news, Courtney.
Yeah.
Is that berries don't do anything besides add flavor. And they have a specific flavor or combination of flavors that they add.
Yeah.
And it's whatever flavor is dominant that then becomes, dry X curry or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The primary ingredient is just what kind of curry.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure there's tiers of ingredients, but like there's really no difference between a toast curry or an instant noodle curry or a burger curry.
Okay.
It's literally just like a cosmetic difference.
Okay. That's kind of what I was getting at. I'm like, okay, how do I min-max this?
Additionally, the only difference with the flavors is whether a given Pokemon likes it or not.
Okay.
Because certain Pokemon, based on their nature, might like different food or not like different food.
Okay.
So yeah. So really, it's just, I like it in that it can give your Pokemon a friendship boost, as well as experience points, and basically functions like a makeshift Pokemon Center on the go.
Yes, as I said, I do completely like the rationale behind it. I love the camping. I think it's horrible. To me, it's like, ooh, but do I want to camp, or do I want to go out and do some more, find some more Pokemon or whatever it may be. So I think a lot of it is me saying, ooh, new toys. Okay, wait, but I want to play with this new toy first, and I want to play with that new toy. And I can't play with them at the same time. It's kind of...
I only camp when I need to do healing. That's literally the only time.
Yeah.
Or if I'm trying to build up friendship in order to, say, evolve like an Eevee.
Yeah.
That's really the only time that I'm doing camping.
Mm-hmm.
Fishing is still the same as in other Pokemon games. So there is no new mini game for fishing, which makes Sean sad. But I do like the fast travel system now. How it's now, it's not selecting from a sub menu and having to go through an animation. It's now literally just like bring up your town map. If you've been there, you can fast travel there. Every route, every town has a fast travel point. So
at least one.
At least one. Yeah.
At least one, because some of those
That's
towns...
right. Some of them do have two. Yeah.
Yes. As I had to point out to you. Why is
the
there
Pokemon
two?
Daycare, as far as I know, doesn't level up. I'm hoping it doesn't, and is just for breeding purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, I'm glad that it doesn't, because it's so easy to level up Pokemon in this game. It's yeah.
I like that. I greatly enjoy
I think it'll
that.
be great when I finish the story and I don't have to worry about being over leveled anymore. But yeah, I'm glad that you can fast travel there. You can drop Pokemon off right away.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have to worry about stuff. I've already hatched one Eevee, so that's cool. You still get eggs, and you still have to wander around with the egg doing stuff. So that still gives utility for Flame Body. I'm trying to think of what else.
Sean,
what were some other... Yeah.
You can be an Eevee farm.
I could. What I'm more likely to do is start breeding, apparently, the super rare dragon Pokemon that I got in a random trade. That I got in, like, what essentially Wonder Trade. Just start breeding that and paying it forward, and then just spamming that out on Wonder Trade. So yeah. Since they have a 2% spawn rate, as opposed to Eevee, but I mean, you can also do a lot more with Eevee. It's just, these are like, it's the dragon Pokemon that is analogous to Dratini, where it doesn't evolve until level 50.
Oh!
Yeah. And then evolves again at level 60, but yeah. It's, you have to wait 50 levels and then 10 more levels.
Yeah.
And then apparently its final evolved form is an absurdly high speed stat.
Ooh.
So.
Nice.
But yeah. It's interesting. I do kind of like the mix of Pokemon. I will say, I think there's an awful lot of bugs and an awful lot of birds, which kind of makes
Well,
me sad, is that maybe we didn't need so many bugs and birds and could have put more interesting things in. But, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Also, I don't know. I'm hoping that this isn't a trend, but I'm noticing there are an awful lot of like humanoid shaped Pokemon.
yes, I was noticing that too.
I don't like that really. I want my Pokemon to be monsters as opposed to
Or dogs.
uh well, that qualifies. Like animals or monsters as opposed to like humanoid creatures running around.
Humanoid bun buns.
Yeah. Well, it's Score Bunny and Sobble's final forms fall into that category.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It just seems a little weird. A little weird.
I mean, you didn't have an Incineroar either.
But I mean that too, like maybe pull back a little bit.
Yeah.
But no, I mean even I've forgotten Rowlet's Decidueye. Even Decidueye was kind of a humanoid type thing. I mean, it carried a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
I mean, it's thinking about that as opposed to, like, the X and Y starter final forms, where, like, they had, forearms that were able to do stuff, but they still kind of felt like they were monstrous. Like, Chestnut and Greninja and Delphox still felt like more on the monstrous side.
Yeah.
And it seems like we've gone from, pocket monsters to kind of in this weird, like, pseudo pocket fursona type thing. And I don't really know how I feel about that. That's just the kind of feeling that I'm getting from the Gen 8 starter final evolution forms a little bit.
I'll actually, yeah. No, I agree from what I've seen.
Yeah.
It's a trend that, I mean, I plan on being a Disney princess and just having woodland creatures. So
yeah. It's like, I want to have monster friends. I don't want to be my monster. Right? So that's yeah.
Yeah. But
yeah. That said, I think Dreadnought, perfectly acceptable inductee into Turtle Squad. Seems pretty good. Also, dark horse of this generation in terms of possible competitive viability.
Yeah.
I was not expecting Wooloo and Dubwool to actually be as good as they are. So I kind of actually want to take Dubwool and start doing some PvP with it.
Wooloo tank.
So yeah, that's my suggestion. Is if you want to just like wreck stuff, early game and then wreck stuff late game, as well. Get yourself Wooloo at the first opportunity. They have high defense. Make sure to try and get one that's like, was it Fluffy or something? Is the ability where they take half damage from direct contact moves. They take double damage from fire.
Fluffy.
And then
Fluffy.
They have high physical defense. So it's like already like you were going to probably take less damage from it anyway, and now you're taking half damage from stuff. And then when it evolves into Dubwool, you can learn Body Press, which deals damage based on your defense.
Oh.
And is a fighting type move, so it's got great coverage.
Wow.
One thing of note, you can also pick up a Leftovers like super early in the game in that first wild area. So you throw that on your Wooloo and you're good to go. It's just the Oh my god, I can't think of the word. Immortal, the immortal, invulnerable Wooloo. There were times when I was taking less damage than I was healing back from Pokemon that were going all out.
Wow.
Yep.
Nice.
That was just like Wooloo laughs at you, ha ha ha, and then rolls to victory. So, yeah. All in all, I'm enjoying it. But I do have criticisms. Really, what I would love to see, and I don't think it's going to happen. This is a wild, pie in the sky pipe dream. Is if Game Freak goes the route that Nintendo did and gets Monolith to help out their design team, because that's what happened with Breath of the Wild. Was Nintendo was having a real hard time doing an open world concept.
Yep.
And so they brought in Monolith to help basically do the world design and level design for Breath of the Wild. I would love to see, because there were times when I was getting kind of a Xenoblade Chronicles vibe, mostly when I was wandering around, a wild area, and then all of a sudden, I heard a Pokemon noise, and I was like, okay, move the camera around, quick, don't see it. I know I'm in a high level area, and I'm like, great, I'm safe. And then all of a sudden, just a Pokemon like leaps out or dives from above or whatever and gets me into a battle that's like 20 levels higher. Or just
comes lumbering after you with his arms.
Oh yeah. Beware is scary. Corviknight is scary.
Beware. Be a very, very
beware. The beware. But the scariest one was Unpheasant that just like dropped out of the sky right on top of me without warning, and I was just like, oh. So, but yeah, I would love to see Monolith help them out with their next game if they want to continue this sort of open concept. I think they would really benefit from a collaboration with that team. So, but yeah, all in all, I would say I'd probably give this game like a high 7.
I would definitely. I feel like I can, because I haven't even gotten to the first gym yet. I'm back in the wild zone. Just catching more and more.
Or I guess using our system, I would rate it like maybe 3 3/4 pie cakes. I also I have gotten past. I'm on my way to the second gym, so I'm still not very far into the game. There may be some new systems that open up or new whatever that opens up that make it more enjoyable. Really, my thing is I just like wandering around the wild areas and doing stuff. I almost like forget that there's a like this gym thing going on.
Because the wild area just has so many different Pokemon in it. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's really Game Freak did not need to put like 80 different varieties of Pokemon in that first wild area. Like they could have cut it back. So that way, like, you spend maybe like an hour or two, catch a bunch of Pokemon, and then you're like, all right, I'm good. I can go on to the first gym. No, because I want to get all the Pokemon in the Galarian Pokedex. I felt the need to keep catching them.
And so, how long did you spend there, Sean?
In that first wild area. Well, and I also keep going back to it too. Yeah, it's several hours. So, I mean, it's also a good place to farm Watts, which you do need to get good stuff.
Yes. That's
the other thing.
I was doing was farming. Like each time I go back, I'll do like big sweep for Watts and like figure out where I am in regard to like what Pokemon are there. But
yeah, they also reintroduced single-use TMs, basically.
Yes,
like there are TMs that are reusable, but then there are TRs which are single-use. And then you repurchase them. You either get them from doing max raids or raid battles, or you can purchase them with Watts. So I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about that.
I've never used them, and I doubt I see myself using them now. Like, to be very honest.
They have the best moves on them.
I've still never used them, and I still don't see myself.
So, well, if you want to,
But
let's put it this way, if you want to make best physical tank ever, you're going to have to, because that's the only way you can teach it body press. You can also get stealth rock, hydro pump, all those key abilities.
Yeah.
So yeah. That's going to basically wrap up the news.
Yeah.
Although, Courtney, what would you say your overall impression thus far out of Pie Cakes?
Thus far, I have not gotten a chance to do the first gym, so I'm gonna have to rank it a solid 3 out of 5 pie cakes right now.
Okay.
And for the sole purpose of I just have not. I know that I haven't experienced enough
Well,
of it yet.
here's the thing: if you know that, you also don't have to give a rating yet.
I'll give a preliminary. Preliminary. I swear I can speak. I swear.
Prelim.
Yes, I will give a prelim rating of a 3 3 out of 5 pie cakes.
Okay.
Because again, there's a few things that I find distracting or just a little frustrating.
Yeah.
For that first bit of gameplay. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. We're gonna wrap up this podcast with what's going on with 8-Bit Adventures. All right, so here's what's going on. The big item is for those of you that are looking for the episode of Berkshire Bites, we haven't recorded it yet. We are just super bit. Megan and I are super busy right now, and we didn't have an opportunity to record over the weekend.
And part of it's my fault over the week.
And then it's just every day has been either one of us is working late, or there's other stuff going on, or there's other content happening that prevents us from recording it. It might not be until the weekend. Rest assured, you will get your episode of us reviewing Once Upon a Table in Stockbridge. So you will get it.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yes. It just might take a little while.
People can blame me for them not doing it last night. I needed friends.
Yeah. I mean, we're also in the process of like repainting most of the house and rearranging furniture and everything. So that's part of why we're really busy and can't necessarily get around to it. Then let's see. So this week is an art stream. So going to be working on a patch design for Tuck, and then some updated Tales of Jamora artwork of all the characters that will be used for a new opening, because there's been enough changes that we probably need to change the opening sequence at this point. So
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Yep. There was a comic this week. With a map.
Yes.
So, because maps are cool. So
maps are fun.
Yeah. For patrons, there was a Speedy and Monty comic. Managed to get that done. Just little Pokemon Sword and Shield stuff. So, and if you want to see those comics, make sure to become a patron. So, and that is going to wrap up this episode of the 8-Bit Adventures podcast. Thank you all for joining us. For the live audience, I'm sorry that there's been so many frame issues. I don't know what the problem is. I'll have to look into it, see if there's something going on with my internet. But audio listeners, you don't have any of that to worry about. So if you want to see more content from 8-Bit Adventures, be sure to check out 8-bitadventures.com. Over there you can find artwork, comics, podcasts, streams, and all of our related stuff.
Yeah.
If you want to help support that content, You can do it in one of two ways. You can become a patron at patreon.com/8bitadventures. By becoming a patron, you get access to patron-only channels in our Discord server, as well as early access to content like the 8-Bit Adventures comic, and exclusive access to content like the Speedy and Monty comics. The other way you can help support this stuff, all this stuff, is if you have an Amazon Prime subscription. You get one free Twitch Prime subscription each month. If you would please consider using that subscription on this Twitch channel, it would be very appreciated.
Yes.
And as always, more subs means we can actually have more chat emotes for subscribers. So, as always, big shout out and thank you to all of our current patrons. Thank you for making projects like Berkshire Bites possible. Yes. Our opening theme is One Up by Professor Shy Guy. You can find his awesome work at professorshyguy.bandcamp.com. So go give that a look. And with that, we are finished. So, as always, have fun, everyone. Happy gaming. And enjoy your pie cake.
Bye, everybody.